This is not radioactive paint, but I thought it was radium paint because I found it in a bunch of old watch parts. If you didn't know, back before 1960, they would paint the dials of watches with radium paint so they would glow in the dark. It was especially used in like the World Wars so people could read their watches without having to turn on the light. Obviously it was very dangerous. A lot of people who worked with that material died, had a really bad time. And I found this in this box of watches. It looks exactly like the tins of radium when you find it online. After I was only warned, I only learned about this whole radium in watch dials thing a week ago, as I've been going through my watch parts for my vintage shop. And I found this, and it glowed in the dark, and I wigged out a little bit. And it looked like the radium I saw online, and I was so worried. I called the National Nuclear Regulatory Commission hotline, asked them what to do, got in touch with the people in my state that are in charge of that. So this morning, essentially, I had 3 people come to my house with a Geiger counter to take this away from me if it was radioactive and to test if anything else I had was radioactive. At which point I found out this is just from a little bit later of a date, maybe in the 70s, it's most likely radioactive paint. So there is a lesson of it's really important when you're doing hobbies, especially working with old vintage items, that you're aware of hazardous materials that may be in them. But there's also, I think, almost a more important lesson that sometimes in life things look really bad and really scary, but it turns out sometimes they aren't what you think. So next time something in your life shows up and it's glowing green and you're really worried, take a second to stop and take a breath and wait until you have all the information before you spiral about it. Because now I had this triple bagged in a corner of my house. I was so afraid of it last night. Now I'm holding it in my hand. And I believe I'm going to give it to my mom, who's an artist, and she's going to paint some things with it, actually. But the moral of the story is, don't worry until there's something to worry about, and wear gloves when you handle vintage